sorry, due to his skill illusionary defense, where he gets 3% reduced damage for every illusion around.
Alright guys, well we are getting started here now. We are going to see an initial 3 split here from the red team. One heading to Henge. The Ranger actually going up to Keep, and they're sending their Engineer over to Mine. Meanwhile, blue team will keep their Mesmer on their close point and send their Engineer and Thief over to the Keep. Let's take a look at the Keep fight now, as Moa has to hold off against the 2v1 here, taking a lot of damage already. And no, his Spirit gets interrupted here with all these conditions on him. He looks like he's going to go down here in the next couple seconds, not even being able to bring that Spirit out for his own self-res. He'll get knocked out there pretty quickly, and within the next few seconds, he'll be out, giving blue team the initial cap at the middle point. And back over here at the Henge now, we do have a Moa. We did have a Moa, rather, go off on a Woo here. He did manage to survive that, though, as this Mesmer is not as bursty as you would usually expect here. He's not running the 20-20-0-30 build as we usually see, so he does have... So using Moa is not going to pretty much be a guaranteed kill as it would be usually if one was running that 20-20-0-0-30 build.
Yeah, actually, Avu is disengaging with Craig together. They just saw, hey, there are 2 people here, we can't take this easily, so let's just go now. Lady Nagnak actually is directly behind Trek to chase them down with the 2 team members, I guess. Sam just stayed back for a moment, and they're trying to pressure mid, and actually it seems like Lady Nagnak needs to care a lot, is actually going down. The question is if they can res. It looks good with the res, Alexi. The damage needs to be dealt, but Lady Nagnak is alive again.
Trank using a lot of his knockbacks there to try and keep his enemy from rezzing up. Unfortunately, the damage was not enough, and he was rezzed up due to that Elixir R being thrown out. We have a pretty big team fight about to erupt here, man. It looks like a full-on 3v3. We do have the Ranger from the red team decapping over here, so it is going to be a 2v3. More than likely, blue team, with the superior team fight we've been seeing so far, will capture this, but at the same time, they are going to lose their Henge. Cancel that, because the Mesmer just portaled back in there, so he's not going to be able to sit there and bunker that for a bit with that Phantasm build, so we'll come back to that in a minute. Nothing happening at Mine as of yet, and we still have MI on Moby about to go down here, so this fight could once again, and it's getting pretty close here actually, because we do have a Woo down, and Trang is also going down, so turning back what I just said, we do have Moby down, but considering there are no other members of Red Team nearby to initiate a stomp, both of them are going to go down shortly.
Yeah, very well played by Meta at this point of the game. Was overextending a bit, trying to rest Avu up again, took a lot of damage. He should have stayed back a little bit, but at Keep we see illusion of Sam currently in downstate. Orchestra did a very good job, normally called Moa, by the way, if anyone's wondering who that actually is. And now he's trying to defend it, but they got the 2-1 point lead and gathering up those points they lost earlier.
Now we're looking at Moby's point of view currently on the Henge fight, taking on this Ranger at the moment. Also, we have the Elementalist coming in, a Woo to assist him here. Moby's going to be under a lot of pressure here as he tries to pull back, and it looks so like he's taking the passive approach to this now, as we do have Sam over here about to regroup with him. So as we do already control that point, there really is no benefit for him to be fighting a 2v1 on that point, so we will be backing up now.
Actually, mid was decapped by Trek. Very well played with his knockbacks. He gets Lady Nagnak off that point. Now she is trying to deal lots and lots of damage. The heal goes off. Healing Tower was used just there, but the damage is just too high from the flamethrower. Lady Nagnak is going down, but will decide to be visible so that Track can kill her. No. Actually, Mubi coming in for the rest. Track in all sorts of trouble, going down right there, but Avu is still there. Probably we could see a play there. The supply drop going down, so Avu will be stunned for a second while. They don't care to finish Rock, they are just stealing damage while Ao is retreating. The
unfortunate part about Ao is he is running a very much squishier build compared to some of the early ones we've been seeing running Cleric's Amulet. He is more susceptible to burst, as we just saw here being taken down by Lady Nagnak, so he really is not in an optimal position to res one of his teammates as would an Elementalist that would have been running, say, 0-0-10, 30-30 with Scepter Dagger and a Cleric's Amulet. So moving, we do have blue team currently taking down the enemy's boss, their opponent's boss rather, Spawner over here. Red team not choosing to contest it, and assuming it goes down within the next few seconds, they will get it down. Lady Nagnak, however, is actually in some trouble here trying to take it down. He's having to burst around, which means red team could actually come in here to sort of counterburst. We did have the Mesmer for blue team who was assisting on this boss fallback. However, it looks like Lady Nagnak got it in her hand, and they will be taking that down. Back over to the mine now, taking a look. Track actually just had a huge knockback, knocking him out of there. Currently taking on 1v1 for the next few seconds. However, we will have Lady Nagnak rejoining this fight, going to his point of view now as he jumps on the track, dealing lots of damage. Look at those crits, and instantly throwing down his elixir as he knows he's going down. Sam is going in for the res, and because of the damage that came in from Nagnak, they were able to pull off that stomp successfully. Nice job.
Yeah, Avo needs to really take care right now. He needs to pull out. He can't risk to lose that fight against two people currently. They are trying to pressure Keep, but they are leaving Henge wide open at the moment. If the enemy team realizes that by saying, hey, I got one here, I got one here, I got one here, they actually could go for that, and it wouldn't even be contested because there is no Mesmer portal, so no one could portal back like Sam did a couple of times. But Sam is actually having trouble on Henge staying alive against Track.
We are seeing that as well. I'm gonna jump back over here to the mine now as we see him about to go down. So Sam has just been knocked out by Track, and he looks like he's actually bleeding him out. So that fight will go to the red team's favor. Back on mid, however, Moby doing an excellent job keeping Moa off the point here. We also are seeing Awu about to go down, and it seems he's accidentally popped his misform there preemptively as he did go down kind of quickly. So Lady Nagnag will be able to stop him. No, actually, he does get res back up. I'm with the Ranger Spirit managed to get him back up there. The blue team did not choose. Rather chose to not damage that down, so with that they were able to get Awu back up and into the fight, but he is getting burst down here. We just saw his health drop dramatically there. He does have his cleansing wave available, but that's only going to last him so long as the thief, just this constant pressure coming in for the thieves really is just destroying him, and unfortunately he's going to go down again.
The question is who might be killed earlier. Avo actually coming up again due to the rest of his team. It's very well played by them. Henge is now getting decapped, but we see it's a pretty equal fight. MiM can't make the moves to actually win the points overall. Now we see that the midpoint is changing colors again, so Oops will have 2 points again, while they're losing about only 5 points. It's just one stomp away, which is crucial right now if we look at it that MiM already made Svanir, for example.
Indeed, we are seeing Accidentally Famous here slowly, very slowly. This is probably going to be the closest game of the day so far. We do have them taking the lead. They are up by about 10 points at the moment, holding 2 caps, and we are seeing now both of the 2 additional players are sort of holding themselves between the 2 points here, as we see now. We do have the Thief jumping on the Elementalist here now. Let's take a look at that, as Lady, he sort of preemptively has to pop his Mistwar to avoid any and all bursts that would come in, and we're now seeing the fight move over to the mine now. Taking a look at the mine, let's see how it goes. We do have Track currently using his gear shield to reflect those projectiles, taking on Moby, the other engineer. We do have the other 2 coming onto the point now. Awu versus Lady Nagnag and Trank versus Moby at the moment. Neither team is really choosing a focused target as each tries to take out their own opponent. Track is getting very close to taking out Moby. At the same time, we also have Awu who just went down here as well. Moby is within seconds of being brought down. We have 2 Elixir R's, both of which are down. Track is getting extremely low here. Awu is being damaged down. Moby is able to stay alive and res himself, so that will be even more damage being thrown on Awu. However, Track is choosing. No, he gets knocked back. We're seeing Moby still alive and in this, and meanwhile, Lady Nagnag is also down. Both teams are desperately trying to take out either member so they can get their teammates back into this. Awu is going to use his Mistform to buy himself some time, and blue team is now choosing to prioritize. However, that will not matter, as Accidentally Famous has taken the first game and has moved themselves on into the next round.
At first look, that MiM would have the stronger lineup at some point in the game, but Oops really spread it out, got the Henge for a long duration, while not keeping track of it. They just went all in on Keep, got that Keep, got mine again, settled down, and they could pull off the lead even with Svanir made for MiM. So very well played by them. They rotated a lot, and it just did it put them in a very good spot.
Indeed, they played very well, very efficiently, both teams showing their strengths in probably the best way possible. But we are going to move on into a round 2 now, as this is our best of 3s we have moved into. Or they were being best of 1s, but we have moved into our semifinals, which are our best of 3s. It is going to be played on Faux Fire next, a 3v3. Once more, for those of you just joining us, we welcome you once more to the Guildclash 3v3 EU tournament. Thanks to them for organizing all this, as well thanks to ArenaNet for supplying the gem prizes for today's tournament. So we're not going to waste any time, though. We're getting right into the next match. Let's go. So let's take a look at the map real quick for those of you new to Guild Wars 2. Mainly, Guild Wars 2 is played in a 5v5 format. However, today we are playing in a 3v3 format. As with all Guild Wars 2 maps, we do have 3 capture points, which are being circled now on the map. We have the Waterfall, Graveyard, as well as the Quarry located here. Red team will be spawning out of this gate in the Char-themed base, while the blue team will be spawning over here in the Ascalonian-themed base. Like we said, each team has a capture point located close located conveniently next to their own spawn, with the center one being here, which will be the contested for the majority of the match. Keep in mind, as once again with all Guild Wars 2 maps, there is a secondary objective to consider on all things. We have lords that come into play, where you just saw those pings. If either team kills and their opponent's lord, as we're illustrating that now, then what will happen is that team will gain 150 bonus points to their score, and if they do so, we do see some amazing plays come up with that. And I was sort of waiting for it to be utilized a little better in these tournaments, but I mean, because that's half your score, a little less than half your score.
Play to 350 points on a 10-minute basis right now. So once you reach those 200 points, which you can achieve fairly quickly, you can just go to the Lord and burst him down with 3 people. But the big problem I see is you just need 2 people going back to defend that actually, and you're losing every point. So if the enemy team reacts correctly, you're way behind after respawning, because you need to count the 10-second respawn in 2. Yeah. And so it's a huge gamble if you really want to do it, if you can play it safe, as we saw before. Made a meta against
Accidentally Famous. Oh yeah, Epic from earlier. Okay.
From earlier, where Meta Meta just played it safe, didn't bother to take the Lord, and it was good for them. It would have just risked their crucial win to go into the finals.
Indeed. So now, as we're about to see here, Accidentally Famous, somewhat of a new team. We haven't really seen them before, taking on some of the members of MiM, as well as with Lady Nagnag filling in with them today.
Actually, we've seen them a lot on our channel, so we streamed them a couple of times.
Well, I have
at least at least for the German community. If you want to check that out, just search for Meta D.
We'll be sure to check them out. So these are 2 very good teams, obviously taking each other on, and so far, Accidentally Famous has been at the lead of this. As we're going to see now, Reds will be sending the quarry, their Ranger will be going to middle, and their Elementalist seems to be undecided at the moment. Looks like he is going to go over to counter the blue team Engineer at Waterfall. Let's actually take a look at middle, as the blue team has sent 2 there again. So more than likely, we are going to see blue team gain the initial control.
Here we see the Ranger in mid actually popping his elite to have the res available if need be, but he pops it just a second too early before going down, so the Ghost again is down. Orchestra will be stomped right there. Waterfall got into the hands of Meta Meta, while Quarry did for Accidentally Famous, and Mubi is defending that right now against Avu. Lady Nagnag coming in to help right now.
We are seeing Nagnag chase Wu down right now. Wu popping his Mistform to avoid any burst that would come in from Nagnag's point of view, and he is going to sort of jet past the middle to fall back to his own point in order to get better positioning to engage this next fight. We are going to see Track throwing his grenades down now. Was he running grenade build last time? Did he switch it up? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I think he switched up to HGH. He was playing the Teldo bomb for the flamethrower build before, but now actually with those grenades he can get into pretty nice positions, as we just saw. He can throw with the grenades all down to mid now, trying to res off before he goes down, but that's not possible anymore. So they are in all kinds of trouble right now. 3-2-2 in the middle fight right here, and it seems like Truck needs to bail out, but actually gets pulled back and is down.
Unfortunately, choosing to run this build, he has opened himself up to a very heavy amount of burst coming from Lady Nagnag here, so it is sort of working against him at the moment. However, it was a pretty solid choice in my mind to take the grenade build, as we do have this bigger point to consider now, which with grenades is going to be a lot harder to fight with compared to the grenades, where he has a much easier time throwing those out in AoE compared to just being placed underneath his feet. And now we will see a waterfall fight erupting here between Malby and Awu. Malby looking pretty good for the time being, however, Engineers are tricky devils, and we might see Awu pull out a chain burst here as he is running a little bit more offensive. I just want to triple check that, make sure he didn't swip it out. No, he is still running Scepter Dagger offensive here, so he's pretty susceptible to burst still, as we're seeing now coming in from Lady Nagnag. And it looks like he's
trying to get into mid again, to go in the direction of Corey where his teammates would have waited for him. We see the Engineer just taking that point back, which was decapped, but at all places currently Oops is fighting alone, a one-on-one, and due to that that one person is always down, Meta Meta can actually roam and win those one-on-ones pretty easily, which puts them in this huge leads of 100 points right now.
We're also seeing Mo right now take on another 2v1. More than likely is not going to end in his favor because of his susceptibility to burst compared to conditions. So he is going to take some pretty hefty damage from the engineer, as well as the incoming burst from the thief. He will be able to survive for a pretty decent amount of time, or because he's offending himself instead of defending this point. He's not really benefiting anyone by being here right now, so he will get taken out. Over here on the middle, we did just have illusion of Sam go down a track. We're going to switch to Track's point of view as he attempts to stomp, popping that Elixir R. Unfortunately, he was not able to get the stomp off with that, and he gets bursted by Lady Nag, counter taken down, and another Shadow Refuge to come in, and he's probably likely going to use this to use, and no, we're going to have another knockback come in there in order to stop any stomps from within that Shadow Refuge. Nicely done by Owu, using that updraft, even though he did not even have a target on him. We
see Mubi now coming into mid. Track is actually done, so they have the 3-on-1 right now. Track actually got rest. Sam just died, so 2-on-2 in mid, but Track is in down state. Needs to really be careful there. He doesn't get stumped, but it seems like Lady Nag is just dealing too much damage, and they're letting him bleed because Avu can't afford to rest him right now.
Indeed, so we are going to see Track go down here, giving MiM a bit of a lead here once more in this middle team fight. However, we do have a fairly tanky character in the middle of this right now. Keep in mind, he is somewhat, I shouldn't say tanky, just more rather bulkier than other deep damage characters. So he is still going to go down here pretty quickly.
Is being captured right now by the Ranger of Accidentally Famous, which is a good thing. They needed to do that fairly quickly to stay in that game, and now with 2 points in their favor and 1 point neutralized, they actually could make something happen.
And we are going to see actually the Mesmer from MiM tried to go for Aquaria once more, but the engineer was there to counter that pretty quickly. Oops, so Wu will be going down here within the next few seconds. They're actually just going to let him sit there and bleed out as the lead. Actually, we have seen a flip in the capture points now. Blue team does hold 1. However, we do also have a double cap from the red team as they have managed to get the side point. However, noting once again we have the same 2 people trying to take out Moa, which they had done successfully in the past. That point will switch back very quickly. And looking now, no one is going for the Lord again as MiM closes in. They only need 100 points to win now. Unfortunately, Moa did go down off the points, so he's not able to contest that from his downstate, which will allow them to bleed him out once more.
Just opened the gate for the base, so we could see a desperate move by Oops currently. They just need 35 points to be able to win the match just by making the Lord. Avu is being catched out in the middle. The Immobilize was off. They pulled him again, but I guess he's just disengaging, trying not to get into this fight, which doesn't really work, but Meta just chose to not go there.
Indeed. Alright, so we are going to see once more here, looking at Lady Naganak, who's trying to take down, actually looks like he's going to go for the quarry now. Let's see who's going to get there first. Looks like Lady Naganak will be initially on the point. No, he's turning around with a juke out, making a pop as miss for him, as they'll both get on the point at the same time to contest here. However, Lady Naganak definitely has an advantage on the health pool. Keep in mind, however, that Awu does have a pretty big arsenal of support abilities that he can use to save himself from certain death. He will pop his actual heal now. He actually has popped that, so he is going to be at a pretty big deficit to himself here now, as he does not have that available for him to gain health back when using abilities, so he will now go down.
Very well played by Lady Naganak, but Track is coming onto the point to resurrect his mate, trying to put as much damage down to Lady Naganak as possible. She just doesn't go down by conditions. It was so close, 1,300 life left, but Avu is currently again alive. But we see Meta taking this game just by points again. Fairly good play by them. Oops tried to get to the outer points because they didn't got onto Graveyard really. They always went with 1 person to 1 point, which decimated them mid-game when Meta just roamed freely. Lady Naganak went on a point, disturbed the 1-on-1, killed the person, went to the next one, and did that all over the place.
Alrighty, so that was that match, guys. Apologies once again, we had our little our Google Plus Hangout sort of freaked out on us again, so I apologize for that. But we are moving once again into a round 3 now, as I go back over to our webcams. So what do you think is going to happen in round 3? We got some pretty even teams so far. What do you think we could see coming out of round 3 here?
Round 3 could be... I don't really know. It seems to be Temple of the Silent Storm. So we have that comeback mechanic with the runes, and it could come down to who gets the first rune. When someone gets 2 points and gets the first rune, it's probably their game to lose, because they will get such a huge lead. On the other hand, if we see a 2-1 cap, but the rune goes to the team with just 1 cap point, we could see a long drawn out game, which could probably end in a tranquility matchup. I don't really think that one team is so far ahead of the other team that they could just stomp them on that map, because you have so much to care about.
Well, alright, we're going to get right back into it now, guys. Switching back over to our Guild Wars 2 camp. Both teams are ready. We have the ready ups going now. And as soon as, whoa, TR. Oopsie daisy. So we are going to get started here now. Almost accidentally famous taking on MiM Lady Mosa. Who does everybody in the chat think is going to win now? This is a very close game. We've seen some very close matches between both of these teams so far. Very evenly skilled indeed, so it really could go either way, but I once again would like to know what the chat thinks. MiM, Lady Mosa, or accidentally famous?
As we are waiting the responses in chat, the match actually begins, so we will see the third map of our best of 3 played on Temple of the Silent Storm. Thanks for everyone just watching, and we will jump right into the game.
Alrighty, guys, here we go. We're gonna see a buttload of might go off here for MiM with 18 stacks of it, actually. Meanwhile, over on the red team, we just had Swiftness going off, opening up the map. They're both going to see, they're realizing MiM's strategy now, and in order to counter that initial mid push, they've all set their elementalists to mid-round rather than to go counter push over here. So both will be getting their side points, and the main bulk of the fight will be happening actually above here. Looking to Lady Naganang now, who is really just, this entire set has really just been jumping all over Awu, and Awu has really not been able to counter him, unfortunately. What things do you think Awu could be doing here differently to sort of keep the thief off him?
It's quite hard, especially as Elementalist. With your regeneration, you really depend on that to stay alive. And Lady Naganang is just doing such a great job evading the knockdowns, the knockbacks. So there isn't much you can do, because a thief can just keep up to you, even if you use your Ride the Lightning, because of the sigils, steel, and of course Infiltrator Strike. And
we do have a full-on 3v3 going now. There was an AoE stealth that went out on Awu once more. Nicely done to accidentally famous, using the combo fields in order to get stealth on their fallen teammate. We do have a Basilisk Venom going off once more on Awu though, and he is going to get bursted down, unfortunately. However, Illusion of Sam is getting very low. He's about to go down. Moby also low for him, but there's a lot of damage being thrown out. They're trying desperately to res him. Awu, this might be a good time to pop your misform. We still have Illusion of Sam, but he is going to be up now. We also have Trank getting extremely low. Awu is going to get knocked out. Trank is getting extremely low as well, so more likely we will see him go down. At the same time, Moby himself is getting very low. Both of them are getting low. However, at this point, it does look like accidentally famous will be knocked out here for the first team fight, giving the initial middle capture to MiM. At the same time, however, keep in mind that these spawns are very close to the middle, so we could still see reinforcements come in from accidentally famous.
They shouldn't do that actually right now. All players from Meta are there. We see what they should do. They go to altar, try to get the backhead, try to get at least the neutralize, and we see Moby actually knew that. He went right onto their point, but he needs to cap now. The point is decapped, so there is no big difference. It's only the 4 kills made in meta made. It's like 20 points.
Yeah, it's still a very close match, and we do have the decaps going now, so it is directly an even match as well. We have both points being aggressed right now. However, MiM is going to force their opponent off of their close point, moving the main bulk of the fight back now over to middle. Let me get to that, guys, for you. We have Sam currently holding off for MiM, unfortunately, under a lot of pressure, and with that build, he's not going to be able to last very long against 3 members of AF, so they are going to take him down and switch this capture point up once more. Taking a look at Awu now as he takes down Illusion of Sam finally. Currently, no reinforcements are planned to come in for the blue team, but we do have the action switching over now to Temple, as we see Malby coming into decap. No members of the red team are nearby, so that at the moment that is going to be a free cap for him.
Yeah, actually we see Lady Naganang running around the room, which will spawn in approximately 30 seconds. So they're really focusing on that to not miss that opportunity to get that initial lead, which is crucial right now. The teams are so close. On Temple we see the start bursting out between the Elementalist and the Engineer, and you really need to take care of what's going on.
Indeed, we did have MiM take back the Temple point as well, but at the same time we are about to have, oh no, he's bursting, going for Trank, as Trank, he knows, could really contest the point over at the top off once that happens, but he comes around the corner and bursts him down, really just destroying him and knocking him out of that fight. In addition to decapping their only point, Sam will be getting the middle top off. Unfortunately for AF, uncontestedly, which is going to give them a virtual 4 cap, virtual 6 cap if they're able to pull off this third capture point here in the middle.
Yeah, Moa currently in all sorts of trouble trying to get the damage done on Lady Nang Nang, but she is doing such a great job just dealing the damage back and forth. Even some reinforcements could arrive, but they are just trying to make sure that they hold tempo and say, okay, if we get gate, that's alright for us, but if we don't, it doesn't even matter, because we got this literally 4 cap right now, and the lead is increasing incredibly fast.
Indeed. As we are going to see now, it looks like Accidentally Famous, even though Lady Nag Nag is slowly poking away here, it does seem like the red team will recapture the middle, and Lady Nag Nag will have to abandon this now to go back to assist his team elsewhere. I believe within the next I think minute or two, we are going to have the Tranquility buff appear as well, which could really flip this game around. But the question is, will Accidentally Famous be able to hold themselves off with enough time left? MiM is within 100 points of victory and the finals now, so we will see that happening. We will see the game ending here very shortly if there are no changes.
Yeah, Lady Nang Nang again doing a great job, just harassing Avu down all over the place. He literally can't move away from Lady Nang Nang, doing such a good job, just keeping the pressure up all over the place. We now see Sam coming in as well, just to defend their 2 outer points, ignoring gate completely currently.
Yeah, they are ignoring gate absolutely, and we do see both. I am sorry, my speech is terrible today. We do have both. 2 members from both of the teams moving into the altar now. It looks so with this Moa that, oh no, Lady Nag Nag and a Wu both down directly next to each other. The question is, who's going to get stopped? Who's going to get brought up? Lady Nag Nag brought up with an Illusion of Light, able to throw damage down on a Wu. However, that will not stop him, and he will get up because of that Elixir as both members are up. Keep in mind that Nag Nag is only up right now because of the Illusion of Life, which will be expiring within the next 5 seconds here. He has to run away. Now he needs to get to a position where he can be rezzed by his teammate, trying desperately to knock out one of the members of the red team. However, it does not look like that is going to happen. He's going to go down, and red team's AoE is just all over the place. Trank will go down, however, and we are seeing the Rez is desperately trying to come in. It will not matter. Nag Nag is going down, and Wu is going to sit there to finish off Sam and bring that point into his team's control. Keep in mind, once more, we are only 25 points away from an MiM victory, but back over here at the temple itself, Malby did just go down. He has wasted his elixir, but they need to decap this point within the next 40 seconds, or they will win this game. We also have red team's engineer down bottom, preparing for the buff to spawn in the next 10 seconds. The issue is that by the time we get to that, it won't matter, because the game will have already ended by the time the buff spawns.
Yeah, we'll spawn actually in 1 second. We see Illusion of Sam standing right next to it, so they just want to be sure that they can't get this rematch. That they will be able to come back right now. Even if Tranquility just was taken, it was a second too late. Without the buff, it would actually be 349 right now, so it would have worked. Good job there by Illusion of Sam, going into middle, just taking that rune away from the enemy team to be more safe. And so we see the second team of Made in Meta also advancing into the final. So we see final between Made in Meta Sulmani against Made in Meta Lady Mosa, which is kind of interesting.
Indeed, we will have a Made in Meta versus Made in Meta matchup coming up. We are going to do our bronze match first of all, though, in just a few minutes, guys. That match is going to be, and let me update the brackets really quickly here. We are going to have Team Epic taking on Accidentally Famous for our 3rd place today. We'll have that set up for you in about 2 to 3 minutes, guys. While we are waiting, though, we're going to take a quick commercial break, as well to set up the arenas and whatnot. So we'll be right back. If you have ad block enabled, enjoy the music.